You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV is going off-road for the True Juice Cross Country 5K. Now, this one-of-a-kind event takes place on the beautiful Tradewind Citrus Farm here in Bogwalk, St. Catherine, and is expected to be a day filled with fun and excitement. I'm Jamila Maitland. Stay with us for the highlights.
Well, last year we had about 1850, so we're trying to go up by about 20%. We've gone up by about 45%. We had over 2,600 participants today, so I'm very, very proud of the team, the marketing team, and what they've done to get out the crowd. And the beneficiary is going to be the Linstead Hospital. We're very, very pleased with the turnout. Apart from the bigger numbers, it's a similar course. It's a cross-country course through the orchards, a 5K run followed by a walk, and then we have a 20K cycle ride, which is also through the orchards, which I did and enjoyed myself tremendously. It's the only cross-country event, so you're going through the lovely, cool orchards of True Juice in Fogwalk, not Bogwalk. It was nice and foggy this morning. And it's just one of a kind, so rather than running through the streets of Kingston, we're running everybody through the hills and valleys of the True Juice orchards. I'm overwhelmed. I'm very thankful for the huge turnout. I'm really hoping everybody enjoys themselves. It's hard to cater for 2,600 people, but we tried our best to make sure our parking was in order, that we had refreshments for everybody. Our sponsors have come out and are helping to feed everybody. Purity, Nature's Valley, Excelsior, and Wisynco with their line of products, water, Powerade. They've come out and helped to complement what True Juice has to offer. So True Juice is the main sponsor as a host, but we've gotten a lot of support from other sponsors to make this possible. This is our 6th year, and it keeps growing every year, but every year we go up by 10 or 15%, but this year it was a quantum leap, 40-odd% increase, and we're overwhelmed and appreciative of the support. We've been doing it for a while now, and I think it's important for companies to reach out to their immediate community. So Bogwalk Linstead doesn't have a lot of large corporations, so we're one of the largest in the area. So I think it's very important for us to do events in our community and benefit our community. So that's why we chose the Linstead Hospital, because that is the main hospital, not just for the area, but for people driving through. So if you're driving from Kingston to Ocho Rios and unfortunately have an accident or you get sick along the way, the Linstead Hospital is your first port of call, and it's been improved, and we don't want to see at Linstead Hospital, but if you get there, you'll be well taken care of because it's under great improvement. Don't miss it next year, and it's still not too late to donate. So we'll take donations for the Linstead Hospital, but don't miss it next year. It's a great, also corporate event. Bring out team members from your company, spend the day. Yes, we have offerings here, but if you come and have a picnic out here after, swim in the river, it's a great team building, bonding place, and everyone is welcome.
This is my first time, and I think the run was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't hot. The day was very overcast, and I mean, going over the hills and the valleys was great. I think it was well put together. Some persons had difficulties because the terrain was a little bit wet, but overall it was cool and a very good run.
So the race today was enjoyable, but challenging. Enjoyable because of just the picturesque of the course. The orange grove, the mist this morning was very, very cool, but challenging because there are many hills and valleys and slippery slopes. So, but beyond that, it's a great event. The turnout is phenomenal. A lot of people here, more than last year. I ran last year also. I suspect the corporate challenge that Jamaica Moves has been sponsoring has brought a lot of corporate employees. So I would say this is like almost twice what we saw last year, which is very positive. From a health perspective, it's good. As you know, we promote physical activity as part of our health and wellness activities. So to see people out walking, riding, running is just a positive message for all. Because you want healthy lives, families, memories, more moments, more life, which is what we say in Jamaica Moves. It's good from a productivity perspective, people more productive at work because they're less downtime from sickness. It generates economic activity, as you can see, many people here. The race is for a worthy cause, Linstead Hospital. So I am yet to identify one negative with the event. We have to get people to understand that their health is primarily their responsibility. And you must take your health in your own hands, and you must do what is necessary. It's all well and good to talk about hospitals, but you really don't want to get to the hospital. And this is one of the things that will help to prevent that.
This is our fourth year benefiting from the proceeds from the True Juice 5K. And I can tell you, this year's proceeds will go towards purchasing at least one warmer for our infants. This is very important, you know, because a warmer help an infant that has just been born. This preserve life. And we have to transfer babies from time to time to Spanish Town Hospital. And some babies born in such a condition that they need a warmer, and this warmer will help to preserve life. You need new equipment and you need to replace those that have gone bad. We need areas to be refurbished. Right now, Linstead Hospital is on a developmental phase, and there are so many areas that we'd want to develop, but we need the funding. And it's good when we have corporate Jamaica coming together with us to assist us in getting some of these needs filled. The proceeds last year was in aid of purchasing an hydrocollator, and that was for our new physiotherapy department that opened this year. And also it assisted us in purchasing a dressing chair, and this dressing chair helped us in assisting patients better in caring for their wounds. I can tell you the Tradewind family is now the Linstead family. And I crave corporate Jamaica to come in, especially corporate Linstead. This area, we have quite a number of industries, organizations, and so forth. So I would love them to look at what Tradewind is doing and participate. Come in. You don't have to be as big as what they are doing. If you can go bigger, no problem. But as small as what you can, come in and assist Linstead, because at some time, it's either your staff or your family will have to use Linstead Hospital.
Third place, Shanice Gordon, UCT Steppers, 25.33. So that's Shanice Gordon, UCT Steppers, 25.33. Second is Elizabeth Munden. And the winner for the run, 5K run, True Juice Cross Country, Laurie Sharp, Tradewind Citrus. And the winner for the 5K run, Garfield Gordon, UCT Steppers. Kenesia McDonald, NCU. And the winner for the True Juice Cross Country 5K walk is Anna K. Swaby, Shizzle Fit. Now we go to the men. Ashia Morgan, Shizzle Fit third, 32.26. Make your way on stage. Then second is Gladstone Johnson, NCU. And the winner is Dowell Allen, NCU 91 FM. Please make your way to the stage. For the teams, the third place trophy goes to Rainforest Seafoods, Tradewind Citrus, and the winning team is UCT Steppers. So Sophia Manning, you are second in the female cycle race. And the winner now is Elizabeth Monda. Receiving her trophy, she will also receive a gift basket courtesy of True Juice. Let us go to the men. Third place for the men, David Osborne. And second place is Fraser McConnell. And the winner for the 20K cycle, Bobby Barnes. So we're down to the final set of presentations for those who participated, the female who participated in the run and the cycle, and the male who participated in the run and the cycle. For the female, Elizabeth Mondon. So for the men, Carlisle Russell, Rainforest Seafoods.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall.
Unsecured loans.
Alleged corruption.
Follows the closure. If they made this investment.
Brokers
strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers.
Financial meltdown.
Here are the week's final. Here's Garth. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale. Saturdays and Sundays.
So it was definitely a good feeling to win this True Juice 5K run walk, and I'm happy that my contribution will help the Linstead Hospital. So I'm very happy with that, and I would definitely encourage persons to compete in this race, because not only do the proceeds go to a worthy cause, but it also allows you to stay fit and be a part of a nice running community, and you definitely have fun.
I feel very proud of myself that all my hard work and my working out has paid off. So it feels very good. How I feel about the proceeds? It's one of my main reasons why I enter the walks. I think it's going to a worthy cause, so I don't mind doing it. I don't mind participating in it for a worthy cause. I would tell persons who want to participate in an event like this, any 5K walk or any event, it's going to a worthy cause. It's worth a try. Go, do your best, because your only limit is you.
It was a great feeling, you know. The race was very challenging, but I did my best. Going into a race, I always want to come first, so I give my 110%. So whatever the end result is, I'm happy with it. It's for a worthy cause. We're all for it, and we'll always come out and support True Juice.
It's an excellent feeling to become the winner again, as I won it last year, but I think I have a better time this year. My aim going into the race was just to pace myself, really, because I know I don't have much competition, just to keep the splits equally. It's an excellent feeling, you know, knowing that I'm able to help somebody.
It's a good moment now, good feelings, you know, sir. I never know that I could place in a second. 2 years ago I come third, and I come second this year. My aim is to really try finish the top in the Jamaica Move Challenge. You know, all of these charity movements, I take part in them, just run for a passion. So it's a good look. good move. I love what everybody is doing, the True Juice body, the Jamaica Move, every one of them, the sponsors them, the support all of these charity movements and elevate these hospitals around Jamaica.
It's very important because it puts us out there. Yes, you know the Jamaica Biscuit Company because we have been around for 107 years. But being that we have new products coming out, it's very important for us to let people know that we are still here. They are actually very happy that we are here because they have been hearing about our new product, which is YOLO, but they haven't been able to sample it. So now that we are here and we are giving them samples, we're actually getting good feedback from them because they gravitated well to our products. Also, we have a new sweet tea. It's not actually new, but the packaging is new. We have brought it down to bite size, so it's easy for us to travel, wait, and so on. Persons are really gravitating to it because it can be put in your lunch kit, can be put in your handbag as a snack, and it's easy to carry. It's important that we came on board since these proceeds are going to be funded to the hospital because anywhere that we can help out, especially with health, it's very important to give back. I would tell other corporate sponsors to get on board with this for next year because it's actually a good idea for you to be a part of this type of audience.
Vegetables, make sure you eat plenty. Children do 60 minutes activity daily. Drink some water when you feel thirsty. Cut down dessert and have a smoothie. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right.
As all of us in Jamaica move to a healthier society, we want to encourage our team members at Wisynco and the public and here at Tradewinds to come out and, you know, move around, walk, run, or cycle. And this course at Tradewinds is one of the most pristine courses, I think, in the whole entire Jamaica Moves Challenge. When I see the crowd here, and you know, I've been to a couple of the other challenges, and when you look down, when the fog rises and you see the crowd gathered together in their yellow shirts, green shirts, orange and red shirts, you automatically get goosebumps. There's no question about it because you realize that, you know, we are all a people. And that's what Jamaicans always do. We come together. This course is very different from many other riding courses because it's not just asphalt. In fact, there's no asphalt that you ride on. You ride on grass, you ride on sand and marl roads, in and out of the orchards. You have to be, I'm not that experienced riding on courses like this because I'm not used to the asphalt, but I know like the Tradewinds crew, they're very used to the marl, the cutting corner. You have young Fraser McConnell, who I understand came second. He drinks a lot of Ionade, so that's probably why he came second. But these guys that are out here, they're used to the fast course down the hills, where I'm a little bit more tentative. But great, fantastic event and course. I think for the proceeds from this, to go towards a good cause like the Linstead Hospital, it's really, you know, a gift for all of us to be able to come together as Jamaicans. And this is what I love about our country, Jamaica. Whenever there's a need or a cause, we all rally together to overcome that challenge. And the proceeds from this event, I hope that, you know, the next little child that gets saved, all of us can hear about it and know that we were a part of it, because this is what our calling in life is. It's to help others and help our nation together.
I want all of you. Give me every yes. For all we know, we might not get tomorrow. Let's do it.
We hosted the walk, 5K walk, 5K run, and a 20K cyclist. It's been challenging for some, that's what I heard. Some it is easy because this is actually our 6th staging, and we tend to see a lot of repeating patrons and participants. Our marketing team that consists of our head of marketing, Marshall Lumley, brand manager, Lauren Mahfood, and marketing coordinator, Kerisha Ferguson. Also and myself, we work tremendously. Last night we were here until this morning we were here until after 1. So just to pull up something of this magnitude. We actually go above our target. Last year we had close to 2,000 across the finish line. This year we exceeded that. We had 2,500. And also the riders has been growing tremendously, 50% more. I want to highlight the sponsors came on board to support us, because without them, the event wouldn't have been this successful. We believe in love and we believe in giving back. And for corporate Jamaica to come and put together and make our medical facility more conducive, it means a lot to our consumers. And the consumer will really appreciate it.
For today's event, there was a lot of planning put forward to it. Like, we knew from years ago that we were doing this. We've been doing it. This is the 6th year, so it's really exciting. And for me, I am grateful and thankful for all the support we've gotten. I only started working at Tradewinds in October 2017, so this is my first 5K as like leading it, but I participated in a few others previous to this. So I mean, I'm truly thankful. I just want to say big up Jamaica, big up everybody that supported, because without you this would not be possible, and I am truly grateful. This terrain is beyond unique, because most of 5Ks in Jamaica are on the road. This one is actually through the True Juice Orchard, so you're going past orange trees, coconut trees. It's just a different vibe. You see the river flowing, the fog rising. It's so beautiful, so refreshing, and I'm so thankful to be a part of this event. True Juice always believes in giving back to Jamaica, giving back to its society, and here in Bog Walk, we've been giving our proceeds to Linstead Hospital since 2015, and this year we're doing it again. And the area deemed most critical by the Linstead Hospital team was infant warmers for their maternity ward. So we're trying to get them at least 2. One infant warmer is 600,000, so if we could get them 2, that would be truly amazing. I just want to encourage corporate Jamaica. Like, we need to develop Jamaica. We need to encourage people to support what we have, because we're truly a special nation, and I believe that everybody should come out, donate what they have. If they weren't able to participate today, I want them to donate to our account that we've done for the very first time this year. So they can follow True Juice to get the account number on Instagram, and just donate if you weren't able to run, walk or cycle. We are grateful for anything. You missed an event, a true 100 event, but we encourage you to come out. Next year we'll be hosting it again. So just keep updated, keep updated with what we are posting, and come out.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Of planning, but I think what's good is that we have a good team working with. It's not a lot of us, but we leverage our media partners, we leverage our agencies, and everybody come together to help us to make sure that everything is in place and ready for True Juice 5K on Sunday morning. I think that what's been exceptionally this year is that we have had a lot of media sponsors, and the media has really come on board and worked with us to put the word out, drive awareness, and really tell people that True Juice 5K is one of a kind. There is no other like it. Just the experience that True Juice 5K deliver, nobody else can, and it's a one of its kind. So us being able to actually tell people about that this year in a much bigger way, I think that helped us to be successful. And I think it's at this point that we really say too,
thanks to all our partners. We have Water, we Cinco, we have Powerade, we have Nature Valley, Excelsior, Purity, and you know, Jamaica Biscuit Company, we said that already, but Rainforest Seafood give us some of the food for VIP and elsewhere as well. Jamaica Boilers gave us some meat as well, and we couldn't do it unless we had people who are supportive and want to connect with the patrons or the participants to help us make it successful. Last year we had a little under 2,000 participating, so in my mind I felt like if we had anything over 2,000 we'd be great. If we had anything over 2,500 that would be exceptional, and we have passed 2,500. So we're really pleased, we're blessed. We appreciate the fact that people really took the time out this morning to come and run, walk and cycle with us and help us make this successful, so that we should be able to give Linstead Hospital much more than we did last year. What makes it unique and different, it's not a city run. It's not on the roadway, and the city runs are great, and the runs on the roadway are great, and that's why we wanted to do something different. We could have gone to Kingston and run, and we could have run on the road in Bogwalk as well, but we thought we have this beautiful property. It's a couple thousand acres, so we have room to do 5K within the orchards, and we thought what a great experience that would be, and it has been for 6 years now. So we have a route for the cyclists, and we have a route for the run walk, because we have the space to do it. The terrain is different. It's actually through passing the orange trees, and we have a few coconut trees too, so you pass those as well. And it's just simply orchard, grass, and what was really awesome this year, I think, the sun wasn't out at all for the run walk. It was not out, it was simply fog, so it was beautiful. You weren't worrying about the sun heat at all. So we can offer that as well. In Kingston, you will have the sun heat. There is no fog. So that's also different, but it was really an awesome experience, and I'm proud to say I did it, so I'm talking from experience. It's very important for True Juice to have an event like this. As a company, as a brand, True Juice, we promote a healthy lifestyle. We promote choices. We do. And so we have our no sugar added 100% juice category. And of course we do vegetable juices like our green juice and our beetroot juice. And just in making sure that we provide healthy choices, it's also about healthy living. And I feel like healthcare is a right. Healthcare is your right. You should have access to good healthcare. And so it's important for us to partner and be able to contribute to the community, and in particular, Linstead Hospital and the purchase of medical equipment. Majority of our staff is from the St. Catherine area. And so this is a major hospital within the St. Catherine area. And we want to make sure we're contributing to the sustainability of the hospital. They've been in existence for 100 years, and we want to be a part of the next century with the hospital and know that True Juice, Tradewind Citrus, we have made a contribution to that.
To be the first female, it feels very good. The course was very, very, very nice. I think it's fantastic. It's a beautiful example of health and great support for those premature kids. Yes, definitely. I will be back next year. I love it.
Well, the True Juice 5K, felt good, but it was rough. The aim in my race is to cut down the time. I did 1 hour 7 minutes last year, so I wanted to go under 1 hour. Difference was I'm a bit fitter this time. So it was a bit easier. To the people that missed this event, they missed a good one. It was great.
20K cycle, deadly. It was rough. It's my first time doing it. I didn't know what to expect in terms of doing the cycling, because it's been years since I've even jumped on a bicycle. So right now, I think it's a new experience for me. I started the track about 8 o'clock. What time is it now? About 10 o'clock. See? And it's my first time, so I'm saying do some practice runs first, because that's where it's no walkover. Try to finish about an hour. Don't make everybody run past me, but then I see grandma moving past me, a 10-year-old moving past me. I'll be like, okay, they're fit. I'm just getting there. I think it's a good cause. Whenever you have the chance to be able to support an organization or entity, I think it's worth supporting. So kudos to True Juice. And next year, I think I'll definitely be here again.
That's it from us here at the beautiful Tradewind Citrus Farm here in Bogwalk, St. Catherine. Until next time, I'm Jamila Maitland for Business Access TV, serious about business.
Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Today we have an interesting show lined up for you as we take a look at the proposed developments for Heroes Circle. And later, we tackle some financial issues. We have all this and more for you within the half hour, so stay tuned.
Violence against women and girls is a human problem, not just a woman's problem. It's a problem for men too. Gender violence takes many forms, including sexual assault, domestic violence, relationship abuse, sexual harassment, and sexual abuse of children. The magnitude of ongoing violence against women and children in our country is cause for alarm. We can end the violence. It requires all of us to end the violence. I call on all our men and women in Jamaica to take a stand. And men, especially, must get involved in this movement to create a better world for their daughters, their mothers, their sisters, their aunts, their uncles, their fathers, their sons, and for themselves. Let's protect and reassure. Let's unite to end gender violence.
Heroes Circle is the proposed location for the new parliamentary building. In a couple of years, that big open space will be undergoing several changes. Take a look.
Our vision is that Kingston must be like what London is to the United Kingdom. We want Kingston to be like what Singapore is to Asia. Kingston should be like what Paris is to France. Kingston must be like what South Africa is to the motherland. We want Kingston, Jamaica, to be the epicenter of the Caribbean region.
And that vision starts with the construction of a new Houses of Parliament complex, the anchoring structure for the proposed Government Oval. To be built within the 300 acres of land surrounding the National Heroes Park, the Oval will have 14 government ministries, agencies and departments, centrally located to the hub of business and the 7th largest natural harbour in the world. Since the advent of universal adult suffrage in 1944, Jamaicans have had a hand in choosing those who will represent their interests and direct the affairs of the state on their behalf. But long before this important marker in history, Jamaicans have been resolved on the need of a centre the people are to be administered. Today, Gordon House on Duke Street is that seat of government. This two-story building became the official meeting place of the Jamaican government on Wednesday, October 26, 1960. Like other sites of the past which were found unsuitable for one reason or another, Gordon House is now poised to make way for the march of progress and designation of a new meeting place for the people's representatives.
Gordon House was designed and built for meetings of the municipal council. So the fact is that Gordon House was always a temporary house of parliament. Aside from the issue of insufficient space, lack of adequate parking, and facilities to interact and engage with the public, the building itself lacks the stature and functionality of a modern parliament.
So for decades, various governments have pondered and pursued plans for a new parliament building. Time and again, the consensus was clear. The legislative arm of government should be situated in the place where the nation's heroes are honored, a place where history has left its mark. Heroes Circle, as Jamaicans now know it to be, was once the Kingston Racecourse, the island's premier location for horse racing. The racecourse grounds also hosted cricket, cycling, traveling circuses, and many other entertainment-based events. Around since 1783, the property, previously named Montgomery Pen, was purchased in 1818 by the Kingston Council. It was on these grounds that former slaves celebrated full freedom in 1838, and decades later, Queen Victoria's Golden and Diamond Jubilees. The Jamaica National Exhibition of 1891 was also held on these grounds, at the site of what is now the Wolmer's School. Renamed the George VI Memorial Park in 1953, a war memorial was also erected to honor those who served in the First and Second World Wars. Then, in 1956, as the island was making the transition from British rule to full self-governance, the local authority passed the King George VI Memorial Park Act. This law was designed to wind up operations at the Kingston Racecourse, which would later, in 1973, be renamed in honor of those who played a heroic role in shaping our great nation.
This act primarily designated the Kingston Racecourse as an area of recreation, public gardens, entertainment, and so forth. It also designated that the minister had the authority to designate certain areas as the location for the new parliamentary building.
And I share that vision, that we should make Hero Circle the center, the government circle. We are announcing today the start of what we call Government Circle.
Making good on that announcement, a non-binding agreement was signed with China Construction America for the conceptualization and design of a model.
The idea is to use this project as the catalyst for the regeneration, revitalization of this great asset that we have, downtown Kingston.
The Urban Development Corporation is the leading development agency of the government of Jamaica, and we have been making development happen since 1968.
It is not surprising that when the government of Jamaica decided that it wanted to see Kingston come alive again, see to the redevelopment of Kingston, it turned to the UDC. And indeed, you would have seen some of the efforts bearing fruit already.
One of those is at the northern end of downtown, which would be in and around the National Heroes Park.
We are involved in the government overall project, which we are doing the study and the work for, which would cause the various important ministries of the government to be located in one geographic area for ease of business and so on.
At the very core of it is the establishment of new Houses of Parliament, new purpose-built Houses of Parliament. And in that regard, the UDC has launched and is running a national design competition.
It's a 9-month-long process. It started with the Prime Minister announcing the opening of the competition.
We've been guided by a bipartisan parliamentary steering committee, and we have had a wide selection of professionals serve on our jury.
We also have gotten a patron. This patron is Gordon Gill. He is the person who helps us to steer this competition where it should go and give us the international experience and expertise.
The first phase was open to all registered Jamaican architects at home and abroad so that we could open it to as much participation as possible.
Since then, we've had the jurors, we've had the competitors go through a rigorous routine of looking at the existing facilities at Gordon House, looking at the site at Heroes Circle, and also getting first-hand information from the parliamentarians as well as from the administrators of the parliament.
We received some 24 submissions. From those 24 submissions, the top 5 was selected by the jury.
This building will seek to bring the people of Jamaica
and their elected representatives in a closer harmony and oneness of purpose by Jamaicans for Jamaicans.
I think the quality and standard of architecture that was submitted and selected is really at the highest level.
All the designs are very open, very transparent, allowing not just air and light to circulate.
Any of the 5 chosen, we would have a spectacular building which Jamaica will be proud of.
The 5 finalists will be working to improve their designs and to detail them, as well as to look at costings. And that will come to a close in January of 2019, when the jury will do its final sitting and review, and we will select the first, second, and third prize winners.
The standard is now set. The expectations have been kind of cast. I think the next steps and the future is really bright.
We expect certainly Parliament will be completed in the next 2 years. The government overall will take a little longer time because we have to do the feasibility work and the community consultation, all of which just started. And we expect that with the Parliament and the government overall, when completed, it will be an iconic setting.
Dear Mr. Prime Minister, what is going to happen to the people of my community, Allman Town?
I am 54 and I've been here from I was born. My grandmother used to send here, my mother and also me. So I really don't want to remove.
The government can't prepare so much job for the whole away. So why not develop out here, make we can look after our children?
I'm not talking about displacing the people who are there, because you know what, it is the people that brings the vibrancy to the area.
The UDC has plans to build 5,000 homes for various income bands and create 27 acres of green space.
I like the evolution of the space itself based on the basis of the act, but we must be mindful of the surrounding communities.
I'd love to see that there's some form of a recreational facility inside of the park for the residents, especially the children. So, you know, first they can play the little football or the little netball, any form of activity there. As long as there's space for that, then I'm good with it.
The King George Act, which spoke to kind of the idea or the premise that a Parliament building could be in the park, but also that the park is for the people, I think that was captured in the 5 designs. You know, I don't think that there's one project that ignored the public importance of that park.
We hope to see the development take place in a manner where all residents are sensitized, we are engaged, we are involved and included in the process.
My concern is that they are not giving us much information on what's going on.
We have engaged the premier government agency, the Social Development Commission, to assist us in that regard, to meet the people in their communities, to talk to them, to explain what are our thoughts, to listen to them, and to be guided by some of their ideas.
It is not for the comfort of the parliamentarians. It is about making the Jamaican state more effective.
There are a lot of unemployed youths around the community and they won't work. Everyone needs money, so I guess it creates a chance for employment and better housing facilities, because you know some of the houses are not up to par up here.
The residents believe that if the Parliament building comes there, they can benefit from additional security. So the station here won't be short of police officers.
It's long in coming, you know. That Parliament down there, to me, that outdated. We want state-of-the-art thing. So whoever go do it, they're moving a step in the right direction.
We're going to build this Parliament, and we're going to do it the right way. We're going to take all concerns on board. We're going to take all suggestions on board. It is going to be bipartisan, multi-sectoral, and it will be done in the best interest of all the peoples of Jamaica.
It's really going to change the way that people think about Jamaican architecture.
The excitement is already in the air.
Now just imagine in a few years, this space and the wider downtown area will be transformed into a vibrant, enviable, iconic destination. The Houses of Parliament will be the anchor stone for all of that. It will hold a central position in Kingston, the capital. We will have 14 government ministries and core agencies conveniently and efficiently located within the 300 acres of surrounding land. Can you imagine the efficiency of that when we purposely plan and build for an efficient government?
We want a productive Jamaica. We are not productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, Pathway to Prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Your financial stability is very important, and today we'll be discussing financial inclusion. If you're wondering exactly what that is, take a look.
Hello and welcome to Finance Matters, a production of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. I'm your host, Daniel Pasley, and today on our program, we'll be focusing on financial inclusion. And with me is a very special guest. She is a National Financial Inclusion Coordinator, Ms. Melanie Williams. Thank you so much, Melanie, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, Daniel. It is my pleasure to be here.
Great. Now, we're going to be focusing on financial inclusion. And for some viewers, they may see it as something that's very complex. So break it down for us. What is financial inclusion?
Thank you for that question. So financial inclusion essentially is a suite of policies which are being implemented by government actors, government entities, in partnership with the private sector and with non-governmental organizations to improve access to credit, access to information, greater consumer protection mechanisms for ordinary Jamaican citizens and businesses, particularly our micro and small enterprises.
And why is it so important for the micro and small enterprises?
Well, if you examine the nature of what we call MSMEs, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, their business needs are very different from some of the larger enterprises that exist in the marketplace. They have greater need of what you would call support in terms of capacity building, the need for help with developing business plans, for understanding how to use technology to facilitate the prompt and safe payment of any bills that they may have, or if they're making orders online, for example. They also need to be empowered in terms of how to actually put their products out there in the marketplace, how to form networks and partnerships. And that's where the role of the Financial Inclusion Steering Committee members becomes so relevant. For example, to highlight the work being done by the Development Bank of Jamaica through their programs, Ignite, their voucher program, their assistance, we expect to see an increase in terms of the credit flows to micro entrepreneurs as well as to small-sized enterprises.
So how can they access those services?
Excellent question. And I think your question points to the shift in thinking that we hope to achieve through this program for financial inclusion. First and foremost, it is important for every Jamaican to feel the essence of their own empowerment. And that's what financial inclusion is about. If one sees the Secretariat as being at the center of a network of partners, call the Secretariat, the Financial Inclusion Technical Secretariat.
What are those numbers?
Our number is 876-932-4145. And of course, we also have an email address, and that can be shared with you after. What you would do is then call us, contact us, and we will put you in contact with our colleagues or key stakeholders, if you will, along the network chain, so that you can then have a discussion with them, go directly to them, and have a consultation, if you will. Sit down, explain your business idea, your value proposition. What do you intend to bring to the consumer, your intended customer, and then develop your own strategy for having your business expand, so to speak.
I love that. So if they want to go to the Secretariat, where exactly is it?
The Financial Inclusion Technical Secretariat is located in Bank of Jamaica, and that is...
And for those who don't know, that is in central Kingston, downtown.
Right.
At the waterfront, all right?
Yes, never so place, exactly. Right, so come on in, and you would merely indicate at our protection desk right there that you wish to speak to members of the Technical Secretariat. They'll contact us, and we'll come down and meet you, and we'll have that discussion about how we can assist in terms of putting you in contact with our other partners along the network for financial inclusion.
Melanie, I love the idea of financial inclusion being an avenue for empowerment for all small and medium-sized entrepreneurs. And it is a testament of what financial inclusion will do to propel economic growth.
Indeed, indeed. And we would not have achieved what we have achieved had it not been for our partners. So both our partners in the ministries, such as the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, as well as the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, those three ministries have been instrumental in terms of formulating the policy positions as well as consulting with the public about their needs.
Thank you, Melanie, for coming on the program and sharing about financial inclusion. I really learned a lot, and I'm sure that you did also. So until next time, I'm Daniel Pasley, and we will be focusing on another side of financial inclusion, and that will include the pillars. So you want to stay tuned for our next episode. Have a great day.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your eat.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
This past October, Jamaica observed Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and a number of activities were undertaken to raise awareness. Here are the highlights from the Cyber Safe Roadshow in Montego Bay.
All Jamaicans should use the internet and all of the other resources available online in a meaningful way.
It is with this notion that the government embarked on a series of activities to raise awareness about the dangers in cyberspace this past October, one of which was a Cyber Safe Roadshow in Montego Bay, St. James.
Ministry of Science and Technology. Hey, hey, ready, oh yeah, how we say? Hey, what?
The international theme of Cybersecurity Awareness Month was Cybersecurity or Shared Responsibility, and the local public awareness campaign theme has been Think Before You Click. Representatives from the Cyber Incident Response Team, CERT, eLearning Jamaica Limited, Universal Service Fund, USF, and the Jamaica Constabulary Force were out on the town interacting with the residents. The day was filled with activities, prizes and surprises for everyone. But throughout the fun and games, the message was crystal clear.
Don't give away your password.
Not even to your friend. Not even your partner.
Which one are the password?
For your phone.
Phone alone?
For your computer.
So like how me want to draw $1 5 grand and me really can go down to the machine. Me can just give me
cousin, don't give away your pain.
My cousin and sister pitney they card for your job.
No, don't do it.
Eh?
I know you trust them, I know them is family,
yes,
but you're putting yourself at risk.
Wow.
The issue isn't about giving others access to your online and bank accounts. It goes further to the simple things you do, such as clicking a download link on your computer or phone.
Before you click on a link that a friend or anyone has shared with you for a video or photos, think about it first. Take a look at that link. If it looks suspicious, do not click it. There is so much that we do online that we put ourselves at risk to be attacked, to have our data stolen. And the message that we are leaving is be conscious about what you do online. Do not overshare. Do not download applications that ask for personal information. Be present with what you're doing online. Use strong passwords and always be conscious of what you do.
The Universal Service Fund is a partner on the campaign. The USF has established several free public Wi-Fi areas across the island, but the agency wants residents to use them with caution.
The thing with public Wi-Fi is when you access the internet, it's like being in your home and opening your door to go outside and turning on your lights. You have no control over who is able to see into your house or who may be able to access your home unless you put the necessary safeguards in place. So it's all about, yes, using the internet, using public Wi-Fi, because of course it's amazing, especially when it's free. But we must always be cognizant of the risks associated and of course be safe whenever we go online.
Cybersecurity is not just an October thing, it's a continuous learning process for you to know how to protect yourself online. So the next time you go online or even before you download that link on your phone, make sure you think before you click.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Do join us again tomorrow and we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Also, you can follow us on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, there's Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
I'm Butch Hendrickson. You're watching BATV, serious about business.
we're here and it's a very nice space, a blank canvas. You can really get creative. I'm really excited to know your vision for this self-contained studio apartment.
Yes, you're indeed correct. It's a blank canvas, which is really good. That means I have a lot more room to play with the space, as well as the fact that it's not yet furnished. You can either color decorate your place from the walls to the furniture to the tile, or you can start from the decor to the wall. In this case, it would be from the wall to the actual decoration or the decor. What I had done was relied on my color wheel to come up with a color concept, and I had used what's called the triad color scheme, where I'm using a 3-color concept, right, along with a neutral tone to balance out all the colors and glue them all together. And that neutral tone now will be the primary color of the space. And by having that as a primary color of the space, then that will actually help to open up the space a little more, not let it feel too closed in.
Because that was my next issue. I was wondering if the size was a consideration when choosing the colors, because it is a self-contained studio.
Yes.
So the size might be a concern. Does that cause any challenges for you?
Not necessarily, because I mean, I know generally the rule of thumb is that when you use a darker color or a deep tone color in a small space, it further makes the space appear as if it's decreasing or closing in on you. However, you can also use it to your advantage if it is that you want to enhance the coziness of the space, where you want it to feel like it's a close knit. So it all depends on what you're going for. But for this space, I would want it to be a little open, but at the same time, you're able to have those accent colors kind of create a little pop, because it's small, but you want it to be a little spunky, you know, a little dramatic. And I'm actually going to even incorporate the ceiling as an accent wall or an accent color area, exactly. And also I'll be incorporating stencil patterns, which will also serve as a type of accent, because I know generally persons will think of an accent wall as a solid color wall, but it can either be stripes, it can be circles, it can be stencil patterns, it can be a faux finish, which is like a wash or a ragging finish or a sponging finish. So it just all depends on the whole design that you're going for.
Ruchien, it's a very interesting space, and now I want to know your vision in terms of color. What colors are you seeing? What's coming out? I mean, I know you've met with the homeowner, and we can talk about her personality and the colors that you're choosing for this studio apartment.
Okay, well, all right, let me hand you the color story, right?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, what I call the color story is basically a file that I create. It displays the name of the color, the finish, whether it's a low sheen, oil finish, flat finish, the quantity that is recommended for each color. And there's a little special comment column which serves as, you know, basically disclosing what I'm going to do with that color.
That you want.
Right. So basically, the color scheme I came up with for in here, as I said, is just a balance between the warm and the cool. Because sometimes when you have a color scheme with that type of concept, it makes everything balanced and harmonious. Yes, you can have a space that has predominantly or only cool colors, but then if you want that mixture whereby it gives you that bit of calm, relax, but then at the same time you want a little warmth, a little vibrance, then you can have that as well. For this space though, the type of colors I've chosen between the warm and the cool were basically like a mid-tone type of range of colors, nothing that's too deep. The main color of the space is called Lovely Lace. When I say the main color, it will run right throughout, but then you have the pops of color here and there. The other tone I was looking at, which will serve as the accent color, is called Emerald Satin. This is the Emerald Satin.
Oh, I see.
Right? And that will serve as the accent color for the wall that faces the entrance as you walk through or enter the studio apartment. And the other color, or the complementary accent color, is called Very Berry.
I like where you're going with this. I'm getting a very jewel tone, but relaxed.
Yeah, it's pretty much royal. It's a royal space. So when you look back at the color wheel that I was referring to earlier, and the triad color scheme that I'm going with, which means a color design with incorporating 3 colors, when you look at it, right, even the swatch here that has the purple tones sort of matches up with this hair.
Yes.
Right? This swatch here, it closely resembles this hair.
Yes.
And this swatch closely resembles this one here, the yellow orange, the red violet, and the blue green.
So you get that triad.
Precisely. But then now it's down to the tone that you choose to complement each other, because the depth or the saturation of the color is very important, because you don't want to choose colors whereby if they're going to all serve as accent tones, you don't want the depth of each to be too far off from each other. You want the depth of each color to be very similar. And then you're gonna have the lovely lace, which is gonna combine everything together. So you have the emerald satin, the Martian sky, these three here, and then, I'm trying to get the very in there. So you have something pretty much like this, that kind of blend there.
So Rushian, I'm really interested in your approach to the kitchen. It's a small space. Yeah. It's very enclosed. So of course, I know that you have a solution for that using color.
Yes, and the solution is pretty simple. Based on the yellow-orange tone that I'm thinking for the kitchen, I'm going to go up the swatch a little, where it's a little more saturated, a little softer than if I go further down on the swatch. Reason being because of the size of the kitchen, I still want to have the color deep enough so it can be visible on the wall and basically bounce off nice lighting throughout the space, and at the same time not to have it too deep so that it makes the kitchen a little too, like overwhelming. Yeah, because this tone can be seriously powerful. As for the cupboards, because yellows and grays, that combination, beautiful. So I'm thinking of the gothic gray tone for the kitchen cupboards. Right, and that was basically inspired by something I've come across online, because I like to go online and be inspired by other color schemes that I see out there, in terms of from the European or from the northern side. Now, what's going to really pretty much happen is that the gray tone that the cupboards will take on will be the carried color or the foreground color, while the backdrop color will be the Martian sky, which is this yellow tone here that will be on the wall itself. So you're going to see this on the backdrop and this on the forefront. So the yellow tone here is going to help to project the kitchen cupboards nicely because of the contrast that will be there. I was thinking for the bathroom to be very different from the rest of the space. It's pretty much enclosed, so whatever color concept that's for the bathroom, it will not detract from anything else. Everywhere else, pretty much the colors are repeated, which is good, because when the eye absorbs it, it won't appear like a masquerade that's going on. However, for the bathroom, being that it's mostly tiled, 3/4 way up, and it's mostly white tiles. So I want to spunk it up a bit by putting this color in there called Tropical Peach. Right, and then there is this wooden frame around the mirror for the bathroom, which I'm going to border it with the emerald satin. So with that, it's kind of tropical feel, this kind of this island feel, with the tropical peach, the emerald satin. So it's under the sea with a little bit of warmth. So that will be the concept for the bathroom, along with the white tiles. And of course, when you're ready to decorate the bathroom with your rugs or with whatever hangings on the wall or the shower curtain or the window treatment, then when you put in those now in the decor, and probably to pick up the colors in some of those from the wall space, then when everything comes together, then it will be very beautiful.
Still more to come on Home Sweet Home. Stay with us.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
This
is Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall.
Unsecured loans.
Alleged corruption.
Follows the closure.
If they made this investment.
Brokers
strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers.
Financial meltdown.
Here are the week's final numbers. Here's Garth. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale, Saturdays and Sundays.
Thanks for staying with us on Home Sweet Home.
Rushian, talk to me about the importance of preparing the space before you apply the color.
I've noticed with this space when I was doing the walkthrough that there were a few flaking areas and a few areas that seem to have some moisture buildup. For those areas, I'd recommend scraping the flaking areas completely. You can use a scraper for the moisture buildup areas, especially if it's an area that has some mold or algae buildup. You can use like a bleach and water solution, or you can use a soap solution to wash the area off, clean it off nicely, allow it to dry completely before applying your sealer. It can be in the form of an alkali sealer that will help to form as a protecting film between the concrete and the applied paint color itself. If you don't do that, then what you'll run the risk of is that the paint color can be affected down the road by this moisture buildup or by that flaking area that wasn't properly sealed off after scraping before applying the color. I've also realized some holes in the wall, whether due to previous hanging of things or anything else that may have caused that sort of impression in the wall. What I recommend is to fill the wall out, properly filled out, and have it smoothed out before applying the paint. If not, you're going to definitely have imperfections in the wall, and paint color has a way of showing these things up very easily if not prepared properly.
When we return, we'll have a progress report for you.
my gosh, it looks lovely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great job. High five. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job, Roger.
I can't believe she used all the elements to create this cohesive look, the color, accentuating the ceiling.
Like really lifts it, like really give it some more height, you know, elevated look.
You definitely gave this a lot of thought.
Yeah.
Overall, I get the sense that the space is so much bigger than the original space that we saw.
Exactly.
And look at the stencils, it just ties everything together.
Even though it's not visible right now, but your grip and seal was also used on this project.
But somebody tell me the benefits of grip and seal.
All right. Well, pretty much the grip and seal is our water-based primer for both concrete and wood. Only for wood, a lot of people tend to venture oil.
Right.
But now with everybody going environmentally friendly and trying to be very environmentally conscious, we're trying to get away from high VOC products. And so we went water-based for our primer so that your top coat is water-based as well, and it creates a nice package. So Roshane, tell me what you visualized when you saw this space, because if I remember correctly, the last time we saw it, the color was green on the cupboard, like a very shocking green.
Yes. And when I saw that, I was like, no, these cupboard colors, they have to change. They have to go, because what had happened is that those colors, they really made the kitchen ultra tight. Like you felt like matches in a box, so to speak. So I know that by neutralizing them.
Yes, you definitely went with a softer palette, and it is just giving me a warm feeling and opening up the small space somewhat. It gives a little rough and smooth.
Yeah.
Looking lovely.
Yes, thank you. And what I had done to make the bathroom a little more spunky, because as you can see, it's tiled like 3/4 way up.
Right.
And there was barely any wall space, and then you have the ceiling. So being the door is white, the grill on the window is white. Let the ceiling stay white, but then add a really punchy color to the wall, which is the tropical peach. Yes.
Your eyes travel to the color instead of the tiles.
Yes.
So
that created the accent to the room.
Right. And then the wooden frame on the glass, rather than it being just the dead-on wood, I added color to it and used back the emerald satin on there, let it complement and contrast nicely with the tropical peach. So in there, it's really like a tropical type of feel in there, very pina colada type of feel.
I feel like the Little Mermaid.
Yes, she definitely took us to another space. And your vision, or this space that you envisioned in a certain light, it was definitely executed very well.
Thank you.
Still more to come on Home Sweet Home. Stay with us.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
think little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands.
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Thanks for staying with us on Home Sweet Home.
If you're just joining us, you would have missed the grand reveal of our color consultant Russian's latest amazing project, Sun, Sea.
Tropical Sun and Sea.
Fantastic. Yes. I love it. I love the feeling of it, and the space has been so, you know, magnified by the colors.
Yes, yes. And I think that is greatly due in part to the yellow that's used in the ceiling in the general area. So as you enter the space, it really lights up the space from above.
I'm sure that a lot went into this project. Tell us a little bit about the preparation and some of the steps you have to take as a color consultant to take us to this wonderful reveal today.
Well, you are indeed correct. I mean, there are lots of back-end work as a color consultant because you also have to have knowledge on paints, general knowledge. And that would include, you know, making sure you inspect the surface area, propose the right products, yes, whether it's the sealer, whether it's the low sheen or the flat finish or a certain oil finish or wall filling, things like that. You know, what kind of preparation needs to be done with a scraping or sanding, things like that, as well as the quantification of the paint, because yes, that part is very critical because you have to make sure that based on the measurements you take, you order the right amount of paints. In the stage of introducing or presenting the suggested color design for the space, it may sound a little bit choppy or it may sound a little bit highfalutin, but I remember when everything comes together.
In our conversation, our prior conversation, you had palettes flying, there were color charts flying. I was in a sea of charts. Yes. And you're pointing to colors and trying to show me how they correlate to each other. Yes. And only you could see the vision. Talk to us about some of the challenges that you had on this particular project.
Okay, well, the challenge is that because it's a new space, it's a newly owned property, the owner has not yet moved in. So basically certain basic necessities weren't in place. For instance, the lights had to be on. And of course, you know, sometimes when you expect something to be there by the time it should be there by your service provider, you will have a little bit of delay. So the light took a while to come on. However, Mr. Thomas skillfully got the job done with little to no light in the place as yet. That was a challenge. Also, at first, I had a particular color to be on this wall and the wall opposite this one, which would be the emerald satin from the inside to come out here, as well as the accent walls.
To extend the space.
Right, but then it came to my knowledge that, you know, someone from the strata of the apartment complex said it can't work because their policy is that all verandas, all balconies should remain standardized in terms of color. Yes. Can't be anything more than cream or white. And it kind of
curbed your creativity just a little bit.
Yeah, because it would have really uplifted the patio area. However, it turned out just as nice because remember, if you don't have color on the wall, you can put the color in your decor.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely so.
And it's a neutral color,
yes,
and it blends well with the neutral colors on the inside of the space.
And that is why the space feels so open from the onset. When you walk in, go straight inside as well. Another challenge was the fact that there were quite many holes in the wall. One of them literally reminded me of the Grand Canyon, like it was really huge. And that's the one that's above the back door that I was pointing out to the Berger rep earlier as well. And now it's filled out, it's all smooth. So, I mean, you'll find that as a landlord, you may have tenants that may not take care of the place as well as you think they would. Yeah, exactly. So they had a lot of things, I guess, put on the wall that would create the holes when you take it out, like those little hang hooks. So yeah, Mr. Thomas really had to go through and neat and fine it, you know, and
toward the base of the wall also, there was some stripping as well.
Yes.
We find that that's a usual problem.
Yes, and basically to correct that issue was not only to scrape it off, but also to fill it a little bit to kind of smooth it off, you know. And then you apply the necessary sealer to really seal the concrete to protect the paint color from the acidic level in the concrete.
Give persons who want to paint some advice on choosing a better quality paint for value down the road.
As a color consultant, there's something called a color budget. Not just in terms of choosing the right quality paints where you get longer lasting finish, in that way your spend on paint is not that much. So for instance, if you get good quality paint, you spend a lot, you may spend a hefty amount now, but you won't be spending again until probably 5-7 years down the road, especially with interior paints.
Yes.
Versus getting a low quality paint and you have to spend that hefty money like in 2-3 years down the road or less. So you find that your spend is more frequent over time.
Yes.
As well as even the types of colors that you choose as well, because you do know that with certain colors may cost more than using another type of color, and that comes where mixed paints are concerned. So if you know you have a color budget that's not quite large, then it's best to stick to mostly neutral colors, whereby it costs less to mix those than paints of color, which, you know, the deeper the color, the more it may cost you.
I got a great reaction from you. You were just so amazed to see your vision come to life.
Yes.
And I'm sure the client is going to be just as pleased.
I hope so too.
It's been a great journey from beginning to end.
Yes.
Really enlightening.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for being our guest on
You're
Home Sweet
welcome.
Home. A pleasure to have you.
All right, Shelley, thank you.
That's it for Home Sweet Home this week. Looking forward to seeing you next time. I'm Shelly Ann Hill. I hope you enjoyed the program.
This week abroad. Bahamas Power and Light customers to get VAT exemption. Dominica rebounding well after last year's devastating hurricane. Pakistan wants its 22nd IMF bailout. Hello and welcome to This Week Abroad. I'm Javon Keys. Let's go around the region. The assets of the Trinidad and Tobago-owned oil refinery Petrotrin will be vested to other agencies. The process will begin in Parliament this week. While making the announcement at the post-cabinet press briefing last Thursday, Minister of Communications Stuart Young said the assets will be vested into 3 new entities.
Transfer and vesting of assets in Petrotrin into 3 new companies as part of the cessation of operations of Petrotrin on November 30th, 2018. These 3 companies, and you've heard them before, are Heritage Petroleum Company Limited, Paria Fuel Trading Company, the Guaracara Refining Company Limited.
He said following the vesting of the assets, a request for bids to operate the Petrotrin refinery will be opened to both local and international companies. Minister Young also clarified that even though the refinery has ceased operations, Petrotrin is not closed.
Petroleum Company Trinidad and Tobago Limited, Petrotrin, is the 4th subsidiary of this new holding company, so Petrotrin has not been shut down. Petrotrin continues for legacy items and legacy issues to be worked off. You've heard the opposition try to mislead the population, saying that Petrotrin is being shut down to deal with AV drilling. Absolutely not true.
The government in Guyana is expected to sign 2 air service agreements before year-end, one with Tanzania and the other with Ghana. Director of Air Transport Management at the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, Sahid Silman, says the agreement was a pretty standard one.
The air services agreements, they're generally template version, pretty much the standard agreement for all countries. What is critical in an air services agreement are the rights that are granted in those agreements.
The Open Skies Agreement gives carriers the right to fly between both countries with a combination of stops.
That will allow for any amount of airlines from Guyana or Tanzania to operate routes between Georgetown and Tanzania with maybe an intermediate stop of their choice. And Ghana, it's the same principle.
Though there are no carriers expressing interest just yet, the countries involved hope that will change soon. A Fly Jamaica flight crashed in Georgetown, Guyana early Friday morning. The flight was heading to Toronto, Canada, but only minutes after the flight took off, there were mechanical issues which forced a return to the Cheddi Jagan International Airport. An emergency landing was attempted, but the aircraft overshot the runway. Here's more.
Investigations are ongoing following the emergency landing of Fly Jamaica Flight 0J256 early Friday morning. This was disclosed by Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson at a media briefing hosted at the Cheddi Jagan International Airport.
I like to express caution because there's a lot of speculations always happens when there's an incident like this. And so I'd ask you to be very responsible because obviously it is a very serious issue with airline travel and the confidence that persons would have in our ability to respond and look at these things.
Aircraft operations were initially suspended and the first flight following the accident left at 7:30 hours. It was initially scheduled to leave at 05:35 hours. Other flights were delayed by a few hours, but arrangements were made to facilitate their departure. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Shamdev Prasad described the removal and the transportation of the 10 injured passengers as effective.
We were able to remove safely to the hospital 10 persons with a variety of expected sorts of injury when we have this measure of evacuation of the aircraft using the evacuation slides. So far we have 5 persons who are on the investigation for spinal injury investigation 4. So they're having further x-rays and so on done. Diamond Hospital at this point could not do everything, so we have 7 of them sent to Georgetown Hospital for further tests.
Director of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, Egbert Field, said that the CGIA's authorities will partner with the Public Health Ministry to offer counseling to the affected passengers.
This investigation will take some time, and I ask that you bear with us as we go through this investigation. An investigation is mainly to see exactly what caused the accident. It is not to cast blame on anyone, but it is used so that we can utilize, or the global industry can utilize this information for future safety elements which can be employed.
There are speculations that hydraulic issues may have contributed to the crash. However, investigations continue. And now over to the Bahamas, where Bahamas Power and Light Company BPL customers will be paying less for electricity in a few weeks. The government has decided to increase the threshold over which customers are required to pay value-added tax VAT.
I today advise the Honorable House that the government will be moving an amendment to the law to allow for a temporary increase in the VAT exempt ceiling from $200 per month to $300 per month through the end of the fiscal year, that being June 2019. This will be made effective for December 2018 and will show up in the January billing cycles. The trends in the cost of the delivery of electricity will inform any decision to extend the increased exemption ceiling into the new fiscal year beginning July 2019.
Prime Minister Minnis sought to explain why electricity bills have been so high.
Fire at the Clifton Station Speaker, 2 generators were damaged, thus taking about 70 megawatts of energy out of the supply at Clifton, resulting in the Blue Hill power station being utilized to make up for the additional 70 megawatts energy. And I want them to note that the Clifton utilizes Bunker C, which is by far cheaper than what is utilized at Blue Hill diesel, which is over $5 per gallon.
And now over to Antigua and Barbuda, where a referendum took place to decide whether or not the country should replace the UK's Privy Council with the Caribbean Court of Justice (CCJ) as its final court of appeal. Over 50% of the people who voted chose to stay with the Privy Council. Prime Minister Gaston Brown said the referendum failed because of opposition propaganda.
We knew that getting 67% of the votes was an extremely daunting task, practically unachievable without the support of the main opposition party. The support of the opposition was very important to mitigate against the natural inclination of electors to vote no in a referendum. And this is a point that I raised during the initial consultation at the Multipurpose Center. Unfortunately, despite our commitment to pursue a joint initiative with the opposition, the efforts failed. Instead, members of the opposition were successful with their propaganda, which was predicated on lies, half-truths, and innuendos. The resultant scaremongering created sufficient fear among electors, which undermined the yes vote.
He said the outcome was disappointing and will impact future constitutional reform.
The outcome, even though disappointing, was not surprising. I am satisfied that my government discharged of its responsibility by making the option available to the people of Antigua and Barbuda to make justice available to all at the apex level and to bring our final court to the Caribbean. My biggest disappointment is the impact of this failure on future constitutional reform. It is unlikely that my government will, in the circumstances and in the absence of political maturity and magnanimity, pursue any further constitutional reform in the near future. My government has decided to move on. We will put this unfortunate development behind us and press on with the people's business.
Meanwhile, Grenada also had a referendum on the CCJ. It was the second time in 2 years Grenadians were being asked to choose between the UK Privy Council and the CCJ, and again they rejected the CCJ. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell said the country would be better off with the CCJ.
If we had Dominica constitution, we would not be debating anything here today, you know?
That's correct.
Because the NNP would have gone to Parliament with its 2/3 majority and passed it. And you know, not propaganda that you heard. People would have realized there were a bunch of lies. And the country would have been better off because our final court would in fact be led and adjudicated by Caribbean people who understand our issues. And they would, of course, be able to help us to deal with the present of the lower courts, which is a serious issue that we're facing in our country. So I'm saying it's unfortunate. People must not play games with the lives of the people that they're supposed to serve.
Both referenda failed because they did not achieve the required 2/3 majority of votes cast. Please don't go away. When we come back, Dominica is still open for business. More TWA on the other side of this break.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357 or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
This is Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall.
Unsecured loans.
Alleged corruption. Follows the closure.
If they made this investment.
Brokers
Strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers. Financial meltdown. Here are the week's final. Here's Guard. News Roundup. Camille.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Camille Gale. Saturdays and Sundays.
Welcome back to This Week Abroad. Dominica is still on the road to recovery after 2017's devastating hurricanes Irma and Maria. And Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says the 2018 staging of the World Creole Festival is a great opportunity to show that the Nature Isle is open for business. TWA caught up with Prime Minister Skerrit at the festival. Take a look. In 2017, massive hurricanes Irma and Maria ravaged the Caribbean island of Dominica, blowing winds of devastation and leaving many dead, injured, and destitute. A year later, there are new winds blowing and Dominica is bouncing back. Recently, the World Creole Music Festival had its 20th staging on the Nature Isle, and Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit argued that this year's staging is culturally and economically significant as it shows the world that the country is still open for business.
First of all, we wanted to send a message to the world that we're open for business and we're still going to get our lives back. We're on the road again as a country. We were affected dramatically by the hurricane, but we're not down anymore. We're rising and we're making movements and we're on the move and on the road again.
Prime Minister Skerrit added that the decision to spend on the festival was strategic. He said the move will help improve the island's tourism appeal, which is pivotal to the recovery process.
The festival was important. I know that there's some saying, well, look, you have very limited money. Why are you spending money on this festival? It is not entertainment for ourselves alone, it is for the world. And for us to make money, we must spend some. And it's a way of promoting our island, promoting our tourism product. It's important to recovery process. I mean, every hotel room is occupied, every guest house room is occupied. There are several private people who have made their homes available, rented. Every car, every rental is occupied there, is rented out. The restaurants are open longer hours. You know, it has been a tremendous positive impact on the economy, and we need it more now than ever before. Every single dollar is important to us, and we need every single dollar we can get to help us build this country.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister said the private sector continues to play a big part in the rebuilding process, and the government is facilitating this.
We have been helping the private sector in a massive way, not only through direct fiscal incentives and tax holidays, but also making funds available at our development bank at 3% to the private sector. It was reduced to 2% after the hurricane, and with a 12-month grace period. So we are helping where we can with the limited resources that we have to expand the private sector so that it can have a greater impact on the economy.
And this is already bearing fruit. However, lack of insurance greatly impacted some businesses.
There are a number of them that have opened up. Some of them have expanded. There are new businesses in the country. Obviously, some people were impacted by the insurance. They were heavily uninsured. Insurance payouts in some cases were very slow. So there are some businesses that would get up the track slower than others. And that's what we're seeing. Natural in a storm, the effects of a storm. But there is certainly greater activity in terms of construction within the private sector. We have several hotels under construction that will all be opening up in 2019. So things are looking up.
Farming is also a big economic driver for the country, and not long after the hurricane, millions of dollars were spent to help kickstart the agricultural recovery.
The first decision we took as a government after the hurricane was to source funds to provide to the farmers to get them back into the field, literally days after the hurricane. And so we invested about $21 million with funds, loan funds from the World Bank. We gave farmers direct cash and also seeds and inputs, and they went back into the farms, planted, and we started exporting agricultural produce in December. Crops planted after the hurricane, and you can see the markets today. I mean, we're now fully self-sufficient where agricultural produce is concerned. We're exporting heavily to the Caribbean, and the farmers have really demonstrated their resilience.
Despite the long road to recovery, Prime Minister Skerrit is optimistic.
Dominica is on the move again, and we're on the road again, and we are making progress. We have a long way to go, but every day is better than the day before, and that's important, you know, and every little progress is progress nonetheless. And these things added together can make a real big positive impact on the way of life of our country. And we really want to thank our Caribbean sisters and brothers, you know, for really standing with us in a very tangible and practical way.
And don't go away, we go further abroad in a bit, but first, here's a look at how some of the major international commodities ended trading this week. Coming up, international stories. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
Welcome back to This Week Abroad, and thanks for staying with us. The American midterm elections, which took place last Tuesday, was widely seen as a referendum on President Donald Trump and his policies. However, the big point for discussion has been the clear split in the outcome, with the Republicans still holding the Senate and the Democrats taking the House of Representatives. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds reports.
The voters have spoken. Democrats will control the U.S. House of Representatives.
So thank you all for making the future better for all of America's children. God bless you. God bless America.
The string of Democratic victories began in suburban Virginia, where Democrat Jennifer Wexton prevailed, one of many women to claim victory.
We still have a lot of work to do, but it can wait till tomorrow, so let's celebrate.
As had been widely predicted, Republicans retained control of the Senate. In the high-profile Texas Senate race, incumbent Republican Ted Cruz narrowly defeated his Democratic opponent, Representative Beto O'Rourke.
This was an election about hope and about the future, and the people of Texas rendered a verdict that we want a future with more jobs and more security and more freedom.
The takeover of the House is a rebuke to President Donald Trump, who held dozens of rallies and explicitly made the midterms into a referendum on his leadership. He campaigned furiously in the final days, relentlessly stoking fear of a column of bedraggled migrants slowly making their way through Mexico to the U.S. border.
If you want more caravans, if you want more crime, vote Democrat tomorrow.
That may actually have hurt Republican incumbents in more moderate suburban House districts, because exit polling showed the most important issue to most voters was health care. Democrats campaigned heavily on preserving and shoring up the Affordable Care Act. Turnout was extremely high for a midterm election. Long lines formed in states from coast to coast, often extending blocks from polling stations. In some places, people waited for hours to cast their votes. Once they take office in January, House Democrats will certainly launch a series of investigations into Trump's ties with Russia, his family's business dealings, his taxes, and other issues. Cabinet members and heads of federal agencies will likely be grilled about alleged ethical lapses. The political dynamics in Washington shifting under the president's feet.
China's president has promised to cut import tariffs and allow greater market access to foreign companies. Xi Jinping did not refer to China's trade dispute with the United States, but he warned that free trade was under attack. He made his remarks during the opening of a vast trade fair in Shanghai. Here's more from Al Jazeera's Adrian Brown.
It is only from the air that you get the scale of this vast event happening on the edge of Shanghai, China's commercial hub. The expo is part of an effort to rebrand the country's global trading image. It was planned long before the United States began imposing tariffs on Chinese imports. Many heads of state and prime ministers are here, but none from the world's leading economies. At the opening ceremony, President Xi Jinping once more presented himself as the guardian of free trade, or at least his version of it.
China is committed to further opening up and promoting free trade. China will remain a strong advocate of global openness and will be the main driver of global economic growth.
He didn't refer to China's trade dispute with the United States, but warned against a winner-takes-all mentality. The president also failed to mention some of the complaints that foreign executives have about doing business in this country. They complain that the Chinese leadership's public commitment to free trade often aren't borne out by its actions. US companies are represented here, even if their government isn't. Proudly flying the flag, a Salt Lake City health products company that arrived in China 18 months ago, but is still waiting for regulatory approval.
The time and length and cost and uncertainty of approving and getting a blue hat has made it so difficult for all external companies to come in.
Foreign firms often have to enter into a joint venture as a condition for doing business here. But that didn't bother this Italian furniture designer, who actively sought such an arrangement.
Yes, of course, because we would like help from Chinese company. You know, to be a Chinese is we know a lot of things we cannot develop well.
Shanghai's dazzling nighttime skyline is often touted as a symbol of China's openness. But some economists warn that if its leaders fail to deliver On the promises made at this expo, those flashing lights could one day become warning signals. Adrian Brown, Al Jazeera, Shanghai.
Despite Pakistan's economy getting better, the country is still in talks with the IMF for a bailout package worth some $12 billion. If approved, this will be Pakistan's 22nd IMF-supported economic reform program. Here's more.
It's often called the lender of the last resort, but Pakistan never seems to get enough of the International Monetary Fund. The government is negotiating its 22nd IMF bailout package since 1950, even as the finance minister says the balance of payments crisis is over, thanks to some generosity from its allies.
I told you we needed $12 billion. We have received $6 billion from Saudi Arabia, and we expect support from China as well. So the immediate balance of payments crisis that Pakistan was facing is now over.
Saudi Arabia has given $3 billion in cash to help shore up Pakistan's foreign currency reserves. It's providing a further $3 billion loan in the form of deferred oil payments, and the government expects similar support from China and the United Arab Emirates. Experts say the commitments from other countries should help Pakistan secure more lenient terms from the IMF. They expect the government to seek a loan for $12 billion at an interest rate of 2%. In response, the lender will likely want to see tax collection rise. The government will have to share its plans to privatize loss-making public sector entities, and the central bank will have to stop intervening in currency markets and let the Pakistani rupee depreciate against other currencies. That should breathe life into stagnating exports.
We are hoping that we will be exporting more value-added textiles. Then basically we have agricultural products, we have sports goods, we have surgical equipment which we export from Pakistan, leather goods. Pakistan needs to export. So we need, we want to sort of get some help in pushing our exports.
But critics say tax evasion and poor governance lie at the heart of Pakistan's economic troubles. And unless Khan's government can get people and businesses to pay their fair share, this 22nd trip to the IMF may not be its last. Mubin Nasir, TRT World.
And that's it for This Week Abroad. Thanks for going around the region and across the world with us. We're back next week with more regional and international business stories, but please join us Mondays to Fridays at 7:30 p.m. right here or live on our Facebook page for BATV News. I'm Javon Keys. Have a great week.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime. This week on the season 11 premiere of Wealth Magazine Business Access, Gary Peart talks about the moment that changed his life.
The lessons I took from that is, listen, don't put your destiny in somebody else's hand. If they close your hand, you're dead.
Making the move.
The offer I got to go from First Global to Mayberry was basically 3 times what I was earning at the time.
And bringing wealth to others.
When you make money for a client and you see that client literally transform in front of you, it's one of the best feelings ever. My name is Gary Peart. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Mayberry Investments Limited. Gary Peart is fundamentally a person who's happy and seeking happiness and tries to ensure whatever he does, he can stay happy. I believe in what is right. I believe in truth, integrity, trust, honesty. And I believe in having a good time. I follow a lot of sport, and unfortunately my physical shape hasn't followed it physically, but I like sport, so I follow most kinds of sport, even curling, which a lot of people might not know of. So I mean, in recent time, a lot of my friends like football. I'm a Chelsea fan. I was born in Mandeville, Hargreaves Hospital. I grew up in Maypen. I used to attend St. Thomas More Prep. In Maypen, it was all about flying kite, driving toy trucks, building your own trucks. That's what I thought life was all about, run up and down the place. We moved to Kingston. I attended Stella Maris Prep School, and things got a little bit more serious there. Left Stella Maris, got into Campion College. Left Campion College, went to university, dropped out of university. Every day I needed to play domino, it seems, at the time. Still can't get over it. And then went into the working world. Was there, realized that you really can't move till you get this piece of paper, as it was at the time. Enrolled back into university. Went to university full-time while I was working full-time. Got my degree, some more discipline, and just went on and did my master's. And that was education. My dad died in 1989, I believe. At the time, I was probably about 18. So that was a major shift. So at the same time, one of the things is that from first to fifth form, it's very structured. And going into sixth form, the whole structure wasn't as rigid. So you started to have free time in the day. And you started to get up to all sorts of stuff. So, you know, this domino thing came, and that's how you wasted a lot of time. So by the time you got into university, and back then at UA, you had, when you started in September, you didn't have exams until the following June or April. So you just got to class. There's nobody to ensure you got to class. And invariably, I played football for the, I think it was Irving, and was on the university team and played dominoes. So, you know, I found myself doing activities outside of university because you feel that, you know, with 6 months to go, you'll start to study. 5 months to go, 1 month to go, 2 weeks. And then at 2 weeks, you realize there's just this volume of work. But I think fundamentally, I've always believed that young men in Jamaica have a very, very difficult time. Nobody really explains to them what that transition is supposed to be. And a lot of them develop this unfair position that they need to go out and make their way in life. And invariably, a lot of them, you know, just can't deal with the delayed gratification of getting a job, working your way up. That's why a lot of them turn to crime, whether, you know, being gunmen, drug dealers, etc., because it's instant gratification. And to be fair, over time, a lot of people just have not really focused on this impact on young men. So I think that's what explains why you have so many women in university and higher education, because they have that patience, because the society doesn't force on them that, you know, you need to mature before you need to do well in a financial sense, etc. So I went through that. So it's one of the things I also do now. I kind of mentor a lot of youngsters to let them know that, you know, slow down. You know, some of these pressures, you bring it on yourself, you know. But I found most men, if not all men, they're very ambitious. And, you know, what are you taught? Your father said to you, boy, if I'm not around, you need to take care of the family. And your mother would say, you need to protect me, etc. But it really means you should try your best. And, you know, some people are lucky that they're able to do it at a very young age. But the reality is that most people, it takes a long time, you know. So that was that careless period of time. So you go away, you fool yourself, and then you start to realize certain realities, you know. So the first time you move out and you go to the rum bar and you drink off all the rum, and then you come home and there's no light. You're like, whoa, you have to pay a light bill? You know, so you go through those teething pains and realize what life is all about, feel sorry for yourself, and then you get up and dust yourself off and realize, you know, listen, for you to make something out of yourself, you have to put in hard work. So, went back to university, because I actually thought I was too old to go back to university, so I was hiding away from it. And when I finally enrolled in university, the first class I went to, the guy beside me was 52. So, you know, somebody, you know, so you feel like somebody just bucks you in your head top, you know, idiot. And so you just got back in it. At the time, I couldn't afford to give up my job and do school, so I had to find a way in which to go to school whilst working and earning a dollar. So, found a way to do it. It was actually exciting and stressful at the time, but made it through. And so once you got the first degree, you got the promotion, did the master's, and I just started from there. My father was a very dominating personality. I mean, even though almost 20 odd years after he has died, you'll meet people who know his name, and you know. So put it this way, if he was still alive, I'd be an orthodontist. You know, because I could not even consider dropping out of school. You know, so originally going to university, I should have gone through the whole medical scenario, etc. But it really wasn't for me at the time, you know. So I said, coming up, we live in the country. I said, run up and down the place, fly some kite, play with something, and you know, it was cool. My brothers and sisters love them to death. You know, so you know, you fight, you quarrel, you make up the fun things together. I mean, thankfully they're both alive. And I have other brothers and sisters as well that, you know, we probably don't have as much fun as we should, because everybody's trying to take care of their family and, you know, make beat ends. But, you know, wherever we can get together and do a thing, we do it. As a teller, you didn't realize life until if you don't balance at the end of the day and there's a shortfall, you're going to come out with your salary.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
My professional career actually started from my first summer job. The first summer I worked at, I think it was CIBC as a teller. And actually, things are so different then. What I earned for that summer was sufficient to pay the cess to attend UA at the time. So I earned enough to pay the cess and help buy some school books and stuff at that point. Nowadays, I don't think we could have achieved that. So that started probably about 16. Started working there, so you begin to understand what the working world is like. So you had to dress properly, stand at attention, no hands in your pockets, and And then as a teller, you didn't realize life until if you don't balance at the end of the day and there's a shortfall, you're going to come out of your salary. And so all those realities of life started pretty early for me. So after that, I worked a couple summers. Then at the time when I dropped out of university, I started working at Pricewaterhouse. But accounting wasn't really for me. And then I left there, went back to working as a teller. And then I left there, started working at Capital and Credit, moved up at Capital and Credit. And then left there, went to George & Brandy at the time. It was converted into First Global Financial Services. And then I left First Global, been at Mayberry. I've been there since then. When I was at First Global Financial, my responsibilities basically spanned almost every aspect of the financial services business. So I was running a stockbroking company, I was running a mutual fund company, I was doing corporate finance, I was doing customer facing stuff, I was in charge of managing pension funds, the investments of pension funds. So basically, that set the stage for a full understanding of not just of a financial services company, but managing people and managing a business. I had a wonderful team at the time, which made it a lot easier. And more importantly, I think I had the full faith and confidence of my boss at the time, who was Sandra Shirley. And ultimately, Don Webby was in charge of the financial services division. So one of the first transactions for First Global Stockbrokers was a rights issue for hardware and lumber. And then, interestingly, First Global was one of only 2 brokers that participated in the Mayberry IPO, which again, that was an interesting story in and of itself. So during that whole process, I had actually known Chris Berry for a couple of years in the industry. And then we had a conversation, and he thought I was ideal to run Mayberry, because Mayberry had gone public, and we had interacted, during the process of determining whether they'd select First Global as one of the stockbrokers at the time. So he made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. I didn't refuse it, and I went to Mayberry. So that was a very interesting time in my career. Because I remember the first meeting I had, I gave an instruction and then everybody got up and left the room and went to another floor to decide whether they were going to carry out my instructions or not. So then the following day I realized there's a betting pool, right? And the person who had the longest odds on me was 3 months. And as I sit here, I am in my 11th year at Mayberry. So, I wish I was on the other side. I could have collected on that. So it was tough initially because a lot of things occurred in the market that went against us initially. But the reality is that when it comes to the job, whatever is required to make it work, I always seem to find a way to make it work. And we've had ups, we've had downs. Right now we're going through a pretty good period. That's been very good, and I don't regret the decision. It started out tough, but one of the things, there are people, when you throw them in the deep end, they sink, others swim, and then still others find a way, to get a boat on it and move forward. So I think I was able to demonstrate that I was the right fit for the job, and I remember the first time I got a break, from all of the attacks and, who's this person and Hassan and Kofat, and finally got the break, and I'm like, yes, I think I'm breaking through now. And we moved on from there because, again, one of the things is that sometimes when people don't know you, they hear stuff, and a lot of times when people say stuff, it's nowhere near the truth. And so I suffered from a lot of that. But then over time, as they got to know me and I started to interact with them, they realized that, hey, he's not so bad. And then what invariably happened is that when you started to interact with Mayberry, 9.5 out of 10 times, you're gonna make some money. So that kind of helps. When I came there, I think the company was more known and still is known as a big player in the equity market. Since then, I think we have made our way in the bond market. So, especially over the last couple of years, we have been placing a lot of monies for our clients, and whether borrowing or investors in the bond market. So I think we've made a lot of headway there. So people recognize we're not just an equity shop or just a stockbroker. So I think also with some of the other transactions that we've done, we're probably one of the bigger pioneers in the private equity market in terms of bringing it to where it is. So, I mean, we've done a couple of private equity transactions, some more known than others. I'm a pretty intense person when I'm ready. When you're focusing on a particular issue. And for a good 2-3 years leading up to 2008, I didn't take any vacation and the whole 9 yards. And I was like, no problem. Once I've gotten the company to a certain point, I'm going to take that vacation. And I had my vacation all planned for, I think it was October, and then the credit crisis occurred. And there was just no way you could leave at that point in time. So what I then decided is that, you know, listen, if I follow this thing, it's going to kill me, because there's always something happening. And, you know, after 2008, I just decided that, listen, whatever happens, I'm going to take 2 weeks and, you know, just take some time away from the business and recharge. So that was one, and probably that's why I remember that period. Growing up, I mean, as I said, a lot of people don't really know my background. So they feel you're born into it, they see you, and you don't walk around the place and tell people certain stuff, you know. But there were 2 other defining moments, in a sense, challenge. You know, there's a time where you felt sorry for yourself. You know, I used to be an auditor for D&G Wines. D&G Wines actually borders Riverton. And one evening I came out, you know, Sally moaning, beating up on yourself, why this has happened to you. It was a low period in time, you know. And then I saw this truck. That's when I realized there's a double gate at the back, eh? And there was this truck. And what it was is that I think for certain days, they would dump all the reject bottles and broken bottles, etc. And when the truck was going out, you saw all of these people lined up on the outside. And before the truck even passed the gate, they ran up into the back of the truck. I mean, you have broken bottles, splinters, the whole 9 yards. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on? And then when I realized that they were just trying to find one good bottle, to go back and sell that bottle, to earn some money to live for that day. You know, I looked out and I'm like, boy, I really thought things were bad for me, but it's pretty good compared to what that is. And I decided at that point, listen, you don't beat up on yourself. You know, the Lord gives you what you can bear and you move forward. The second one, you know, during that period, I used to work downtown. And back then, if you take a bus from Parade straight to Constant Spring, the fee is cheaper than if you stop in Crossroads and Halfway Tree. So somebody had promised to give me some money, and I had my last $20 that, you know, you take from there, you go straight up, right? So, you know, reached to, I think it was Crossroads, because I had to go to the person. And I said, well, you know, do I stay on the bus, go home, and then have this conversation the next day, or do I go and collect my money? So I said, well, you know, the guy promised, a good friend at the time, promised that he had the cash. So walked over to the place, and, you know, sat there for like 3 hours. The guy didn't turn up and things. So it's like 9 o'clock now. So you're broke. I'm living up in Constant Spring at the time, and I'm in Crossroads, and I don't have a single dollar to my name, right? So, I mean, you know, I said, well, what am I gonna do? So I now had to walk from Crossroads all the way up. And there are about 6 people who, when you saw them, I figured they were considering robbing me. But when I saw my face, it was like, Jesus Christ, this brother is like, you know, there's no way. It was that bad, right? And reached a Halfway Tree at about 11 o'clock in the night. And there's this taxi man there, and him see me, and him said, boy, where you going? I said, boy, Constant Spring. And him said, no problem, come. And he dropped me up, and actually dropped me to where I was living at the time. And I looked on, you know, and the lessons I took from that is, you know, listen, don't put your destiny in somebody else's hand. If they close your hand, you're dead, right? 2, don't ever run out of money. It's not pretty, right? And 3, most importantly, you will always get help from the most unlikely sources. And no matter how people think that things are bad, there's always that angel disguised in the various ways that will be there to help you. The offer I got to go from First Global to Mayberry was basically 3 times what I was earning at the time.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
The offer I got to go from First Global to Mayberry was basically 3 times what I was earning at the time, right? So, you know, I'm a giving person. So when I get the job, listen man, I'm now earning 3 times. So if I was earning $1, I'm getting $3 for the month. Everybody that asked me for help, me help them. When I got my paycheck that first month, I was in overdraft. I'm like, there's no way I can tell my poor wife this, right? Because, you know, this is, you're living on $1 and then you get $3 and you're broke, right? So, you know, I went to my chairman and I was like, Chris, how I deal with this? He said it's simple. You just need to learn to say no. You can't save the world, right? You just decide who you're going to help and you decide what is going to cost you to help them and you determine that that's what you can afford and you do that, yeah? But there's nothing wrong in saying no. And thankfully since then I've been able to save some parts of my salary, you know. So, I mean, it's simple things like that, you know, that define you and, you know, you move on in life and, I mean, there isn't a challenge that you feel you can't overcome. Misconceptions about me, it depends, it's varied. Because depending on how you interact with me, you're going to get a totally different person, right? So some of my friends just still can't understand how I deal with, you know, some of these large businesses because I'm a joker. You know, when I'm around them, you know, I'm just happy to be around them and we smile and enjoy life. And it's a way of de-stressing, you know, so they will see some of these transactions and they'll be like, you know, it doesn't add up, eh? But on the flip side, sometimes when, you know, I'm in the middle of a transaction or doing what job requires, people wouldn't believe that you have this other side that you can just go right down, you know. So if I don't have to wear shoes, I'm not interested in wearing shoes. What I love about my job at Mayberry, I don't have to wear a tie every day, you know. So it's difficult to tie it down because depending on where you go, you get different people. So somebody who sees you as being laid back, they're going to probably tackle you in a particular way and be upset when you probably put them in their place. On the flip side, somebody sees you as so serious that they're just totally shocked when you laugh, I found there's nothing that replaces the feeling when you make money for a client and you see that client, I mean, literally transform in front of you. It's one of the best feelings ever, which actually that's part of the vision statement of Mayberry, transforming lives positively through lasting relationships. I actually work 7 days a week. My job isn't 8:30 to 4:30. You know, we could be here having this conversation and then you say something and it could be an opportunity for an investment or a transaction. But at the same time, I enjoy myself 7 days a week, you know, so it's all good. My entire life, I don't think I've been in an economy that had robust growth for a consistently long period of time. I've traveled and I've gone to countries where you have double-digit growth or high single-digit growth, and it's phenomenal. And I think it is within reach of the Jamaican economy, and I don't think there'll be anything better to be sitting in Jamaica and we're growing at 5-6%, because what it translates into is significantly more jobs, less crime, and you know, as I said to my friends, you know, everybody needs to do well, right? Because then everybody can buy a rum next week. You know, you can't have one person buying a rum all the time. So, you know, and it's something that I feel Jamaicans need to dream about. There is no reason Jamaica cannot be the monarch of the Caribbean. What does wealth mean to Gary Peart? It's just a way of life. It's happiness. It is making life better for a lot of other people. It's a means to an end. It's not the end all, you know. And with it helps people to achieve their dreams, and also my dreams. And I think if we can aspire to wealth, and wealth is not just financial. Let me just be clear on that. When I use the word wealth, it's very broad based. So I think I'm very wealthy when it comes to laughing. I think it's very wealthy. I'm very wealthy when it comes to being happy and having good friends, a good family, you know. So I believe I am wealthy, and that's what that means to me.
Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
Loving Hands Children's Network, LHCN, recently extended their loving arms to St. Richard's Primary School and Early Childhood Centre as part of their campaign in Jamaica and the United Kingdom.
Loving Hands Children's Network is a social enterprise. We're a community organisation based in the United Kingdom. We've set ourselves up to help those in need, as in children, young adults with disabilities, those that are disenfranchised, and those young children, young people who are in real need, home and away. We have 5 representatives that work with us. We're all volunteers. Abigail and I, as we said, are co-founders. Yeah. We have 2 local representatives here in Jamaica. We have 2 representatives in the UK, and we have 1 who's based, a brand ambassador that's based in the United States of America. We're here to launch our Feeding Our Future campaign and to share our organisation with you guys in Jamaica.
I got a dream. And I wanted to fulfill that dream. So Antoinette and I became really close from working in the school because where our daughter attends. And I presented that dream to her. And because I look up to her as a mentor as well, which I don't think she knows, but yeah. So I decided to present that to her, being, business-minded as she is. And I decided to bring it to life, really. And the name came to me in a dream, as I said, and we wanted to add something else to the name that could broaden it. So that's when Antoinette decided, let's call it a children's network, and that's how the name came about. Growing up, my mom didn't have enough money for me to attend school, so I was on a feeding program as well. Used to get vegetable and milk. I'm assuming they're still doing that. Yes, so, and for me, like what Antoinette mentioned earlier, I've done my research, and, it's very important for kids to have a meal in the morning. It's very important. So that's what inspired me as well as my dream.
We've only been working with organisations in the UK at the moment, but then we've reached out to where we are here today, so St Richard's Primary School and also the Early Childhood Learning Centre, because Abigail came to St Richard's Primary School, and we wanted to, as we said, give back and to share various initiatives that we've been talking about. My own child has disability, so I have a 16-year-old son who has autism. So, totally understand the pressures and the constraints for a parent. And I wanted to share that outside of the UK because I was being reached out to online and social media by families and, friends with children with special needs, and the lack of support and resources here in Jamaica for those children.
We would like the government in Jamaica to help to support us. We feel like special needs to be recognised more, and children should not be shunned because they've got a special need. So we would like that to be recognised more by the government. The importance of, the supporting children with special needs. Being a special needs teacher as well, it's so rewarding to see, when you get them from September and say, for example, they've got speech and language or some form of physical disability, and to see the progress, and sometimes just you alone cannot support enough children. So we need that, that extra support, that governmental support.
We've kicked off and launched our Future campaign, Jamaica, and that basically comprises of a breakfast feeding and healthy choices eating plan. So we're working with principals at St Richard's, so Mrs. Maureen Wong, and we're also working with Millicent Wilson here at the Early Childhood Learning Centre to promote and provide children with, healthy options, optional choices, and to learn how to eat well. We're very conscious, we've done research, we've looked into the impact of having breakfast and how that can enable you and energise you in order to learn, concentrate, build the brain and growth. We're not saying we're health experts by any means, but we are caring and cherishing parents, so we do understand and see the value in having a real warm meal full, healthy meal, vitamins, minerals each day.
Future plans would be to for us to have sponsorship, because at the moment we're doing everything, it's self-funded. We would love to have sponsorship because we found it quite challenging, self-funding the Feeding Our Future initiative. So yes, it would be lovely to have some form of sponsorship from the government.
And I would also add that as well as sponsorship, you know, we're currently, as I said, being approached by many organisations, and it would be nice to see beyond, you know, siloed projects come to life. It'd be really, you know, impactful across the island so that we can enter into all the parishes with the Feeding Our Future programme, which we do intend to do. We'd like to roll it across all 14 parishes. We also want to make sure, again, we roll out the youth employability, where we're working with private organisations, government bodies, in order to, again, raise awareness of young people entering into work. We know how high youth unemployment is, not just in Jamaica, but also for us back home in the UK.
We're working and we've got kids, and we still, you know, we're on it because, you know, we're passionate, very passionate about the children, very.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
St. Richard's Early Childhood Centre has been established since 1985.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point. Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report. Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Millicent Wilson is the principal of St. Richard's Preschool and Early Childhood Center. She is grateful for the support that she has gotten from Loving Hands Children's Network. So too is Maureen Wong, principal of St. Richard's Primary School. Both schools have a breakfast feeding program for all students.
St. Richard's Early Childhood Center has been established since 1985. It was operated by the Catholic Sisters. However, over the years, it was closed and reopened in 1999. That's when I started here. However, in 2013, I became the principal of St. Richard's Early Childhood Center. St. Richard's is a Catholic school, and we believe in nurturing spiritual values, social values, positive social values, and with that culminating with the academics, can only have excellence. We currently have 197 students, including preschoolers. We have a staff of 15, including caregivers, ancillary staff, cooks. We have 3 persons who operate the kitchen, because we do our breakfast program at 7 o'clock in the morning, lunch program, and we also cater for the aftercare students, so we also give them a snack. 6 classrooms, all trained teachers, and so our students are being catered for, not just nutritionally, but academically. St. Richard's Early Childhood Center is situated in a inner city community, where you find some students may come to school with little or no breakfast, little or no lunch. Being a Catholic institution, we believe it is quite fitting to ensure that our students are well nourished. And so we started our breakfast program in 2013. However, the government had come on stream to help us out, because now the government is focusing on nutrition. However, the funding that we receive from the government sometimes cannot cover both breakfast, lunch, plus aftercare, because those students are here until 6 o'clock in the evening. And so we are grateful for the help that we can get from Abigail, just about any help that we can get to ensure that our students are well fed. Abigail was a student at St. Richard's Primary School, but you know it's on the same compound as the Early Childhood Center. And she has decided to partner with us for a breakfast program, right? And she's just given back to her institution. She's so much in love with St. Richard's Primary School and what she has achieved. And so we are really grateful to be a part of this venture.
Many people would say St. Richard's Primary is operated as a prep school, a preparatory school. We prepare our children here to go out into the wider world. We have an holistic approach, and everyone, just about everyone, we want their children to come to St. Richard's Primary School. We have a very good program here, and it's not just about academics, it's well-rounded. We have sporting activities, we have the arts, we have a mixture of everything here at St. Richard's Primary School. And we pride ourselves in our motto, excellence or goal. So whatever it is that we do here at St. Richard's, we aim for the highest and we always maintain a very high standard. Our claim to fame really is our academics. And every year when our students do the grade 6 achievement test that the government allows for all schools, for the primary to matriculate to the high schools, we are always on top of our games. We have a high percentage of persons going to the traditional high schools. And so that is one of our claim to fame, our academics. Our teachers here, they are very involved, they are very dedicated. Here at St. Richard's, we uphold our Christian values. Many of the staff members are Christians, and so they impart this to the students. And also that we collaborate with each other. If it is that there's a problem in the family, they come and they speak with either the principal, vice principal, the guidance counselor, or just about the teachers. So we have an approach that says that we are family oriented and that we care about each other. We ensure that each child has a lunch. The PTA has a program where they adopt, so to speak, 10 students each year. They purchase the books and other supplies, the book bags, everything that 10 student needs. Also from outside, we get sponsorship for those students, especially those who are struggling in terms of the financial aspect of things, and that they, really show the true potential. So I have students who are sponsored by, persons out there who really want to give back to the society. And, we have persons like Abigail, who is a past student here at St. Richard's. And so it is that, we are considered. I just would like to add that I thank persons like Abigail from Loving Hands, who is on board with St. Richard's Primary, that other persons, when they see this, that they too can come on board, because the school will benefit a lot from persons who look out and give back to society in this way.
We are ready to make a positive change. So whatever the challenges are, it is for us now to find persons who are trained and capable to help us in any area.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
It's not just about a piece of bread and butter. These guys are really getting some really good meals here, and we try to change it each day.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and they say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
Kevin Nemard, the PTA president of St. Richard's Preschool and Early Childhood Center, sees the breakfast program as a welcome initiative.
When I got here and we saw that children here, the parents will drop them off and that's it, and some of them didn't have a meal, some might not have lunch on a day-to-day basis. Now the idea came that, hey, let us start do something. So we started off really small to see what would be the response of the parents and the children. And try to make sure that we have a balanced learning zone here that is not just about teaching yourself, but make sure that if once your tummy is full, you're better focused in class. You give less trouble in class because you hear the worms growling and stuff in the tummy, you're distracted, so you tend to want to give trouble. Now when your tummy is full, from early because you're taught that the first meal of the day is the best meal. So here we started off, and our breakfast program is very, I think it's very good for me. It is awesome because it's not just about a piece of bread and butter. These guys are really getting some really good meals here, and we try to change it each day. So one morning you might have porridge, real nice porridge, Mattel coolers, Auntie can cook, have Mercy when she go into the kitchen, everything just smells nice. Just smell it from way down the road and say, oh gosh, I can't wait to reach at school. So they might have like frankfurters and scrambled eggs, they have cereal, they have fruits. We have partnership with other persons who parents who might give us some fruits, or we have some agreement we buy fruits at a better price, and they have the holistic meal here to have. So it's not about just dry food and like, oh gosh, the program I look so surprised I get every day. So every day is something different, and these kids actually look forward to coming here. My parents telling me that I don't want any breakfast at home. The breakfast here is nice, so mommy don't need to do anything. So that was very encouraging to hear that. And it wasn't anything planned. A child came and she said that to me, and the parents saw me, and I'm like, okay, I didn't know it was that good. So it's a good project that we have here. Abigail spoke to us about her niece's intentions, and then we heard that she's not here in Jamaica. And she's in London there, and this is what she wants to do to give back. I thought that, okay, this seemed to be an interesting venture to do because, it's good to know that we can think outside of the box. And I'm happy that, persons in their own little ways have a desire to want to give back to where they're coming from. Because one of the things we try to do here is to encourage persons that whatever you sow, as you heard the principal said earlier, the seed you sow today will benefit the community in the future. So, if we can start here at this level, nourishing these young children's mind, encourage them to focus in on what is important, then we know that the future of Jamaica is much better than what it is now. So with our partnership with Abigail is, for me, a wonderful thing. And we're expecting great things with this partnership. And I hope that this thing will grow from strength to strength, you know, as we go along.
As St. Richard's continues to provide a holistic environment for our children, the parents are thankful for the thought and care shown to their children.
It's helped a lot, you know, because you know in the morning when you wake up, even if you look out for breakfast at home, she's not going to eat it. But she loves to interact with the other kids when they're eating, so well, it helps out a lot.
It is very good because at home she doesn't eat, but eating here at the school, it helps because she interacts with other kids. So I think eating with other kids help her to eat as well, and she eat more.
I just want to thank those of who are helping to donate and continue to do it. I really appreciate it.
What do you want to tell me about your breakfast that you eat in the mornings and coming to school and having fun with your friends?
It's nice and it keep my bellies when it's break time.
The breakfast program here is a cut above the rest. The kids get porridge, the vegetable, and my son and my daughter have breakfast every single morning, even if they have breakfast at home. It's their duty to have breakfast here. And so it's a time when the kids get to, I don't know what Auntie put in the breakfast, but my son seems to love the porridge. And so I can't make porridge like Auntie, and my daughter seems to love her lunch. And she's putting on a lot of weight, but you know, I love that about the school. The teachers and the chef, I just want to tell you thanks for your hard work, for taking care of my children. They know my son by name, Nehemiah, so when he comes in the morning, it doesn't matter what time they have his breakfast prepared, because he can't function without having his breakfast at school. And to the principal, she's doing a superb job in the sense of my daughter usually attends a prep school, and it's St. Richard's is a cut above the rest. It is like a mini prep school with a very minimal cost. And to Miss Douglas, she is the most loving teacher and the most kind teacher. And to Shireen, my daughter, is so elated with the school. The ministry should take a page out of what St. Richard's is doing here and let other schools adopt what they're doing, because the students are learning and the students are being experienced to a whole heap of stuff. And I think what St. Richard's is doing is like, it's a first world country. It's you know what we get in a first world country, and that's what I love about St. Richard's.
I think we have a fabulous staff here. I think the teachers are just great. It's not just a job for them, it's their career. They love what they do. They take the time out to individually speak to children, you know, even if they're being naughty, they take the time out to talk to the children, not about punishing them, but to show them and talk to them about what they're doing. And you know what would mommy say, or daddy say if they heard that you were doing this, you know. So we try to inculcate the family life here, and not just coming to school, but beyond when you go back home.
I'm from the diaspora and I want to give back to Jamaica the skills and experience that we have and things that we can leverage from the UK to bring to Jamaica.
Even though sometimes we may say this is hard work, but we are committed.